Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of The Breakdown, a Call of Duty talk show where Methods and Scump discuss Call of Duty teams, rosters, tournaments, matches, roster drama, team changes, you name it, we break it down for you. What's up, kid?
It's The Breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing good today, man. How are you? I got my third dentist appointment done this earlier today, and I have a crown on my back tooth now. So if it falls out during the show and I swallow it, just know it's professional when I proceed to carry on.
I'm good. I'm doing good now, man. How are you? Fucking dumbass. Welcome. Obviously, this episode will be mostly, pretty much catered to the most recent major, the OpTic Texas home major, where obviously we had some of the best matches you could ask for. OpTic make the run. We've seen some upsets.
I can't believe that they almost did it.
I
was heartbroken when right after they lost. I was actually like hella sad.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I was completely vibe killed.
I was gonna shave my head. Imagine this head with no hair on it.
I was gonna shave my stash.
I mean, I think the mustache compared to I think you shaving the mustache compared to me shaving my fucking fat head off is a little different.
Yeah, they're not comparable.
But
I could not have wanted anything more than for you to shave that dome piece, because you would have been looking like Rufus, the naked mole rat from Kim Possible.
I'd look like a penis.
You would.
Anyways, that was heartbreaking, but nonetheless, the run was, it was a Cinderella run. I mean, me and you sat on stream after the first day and said that we'd give them a 1% chance on being in a final or winning the tournament.
I felt like an asshole after we did that, and then they almost made the run. If they would have made the run, which, they technically did, but we would have looked like
they made
morons.
the run. To be fair, the team that we saw on Thursday compared to the team we saw the rest of the weekend was a night and day difference. But hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, we had a lot of fun on the watch party, and meeting the green wall was a pleasure. That crowd was insane. The line to get into the tournament was wrapping around towards like Six Flags.
Yeah, that's insane.
The line was legitimately insane.
We always tell people, if you're going to come to a major, come to the OpTic major. We're not biased. It's just the best event. If you're able to next year, hoping that there is an OpTic major next year, make sure to come, make sure to save up whatever. The OpTic major is the one to come to. But take us away.
Listen, let's get into the show. Once again, thank you to everybody for tuning in and showing us love on our first episode.
Episode number 2. We're a lot looser this time.
Yeah, I think we're a lot less stressed. That first one, I was shitting my pants, and we were pacing back and forth. But this one, we feel good.
Yeah,
so
we feel a lot more prepared, a lot better about this one. We actually have some improvements before we actually do hop into it. So today for the deep dive and for the top 10, which are inevitably going to come, that's not even spoiling it. We actually have an HDMI straight from laptop into PC today. So, fingers crossed. We've tested everything. There shouldn't be any lag, any frame rate issues. It should just be straight on. We can pause, talk about things.
Yep.
So it should run a little bit smoother today from that point of view. And I know that was probably a big thing for people because, we want smooth video for you guys. But take us away, Zin.
Listen, if you tuned into the first episode, you know how this goes. Our first segment, welcome to Breakdown Team of the Week.
Now, it's worth mentioning that for this segment, obviously, we started this late. We started this during week 3 of the qualifier matches. This will actually be a Team of the Week leading up into the next major, whenever we have the matches, we'll actually do Team of the Week. Again, it's the major, so this is Team of the Major.
Also, we decided to pick a player from each of the top 4 teams. We thought it'd be maybe a little lame if the entire Breakdown Team of the Week was just players that were in the grand final. So you're going to see a player from each of the top 4 teams respectively. Sorry, not top 4. One of the players didn't place top 4, but we didn't want to do a...
Are you choking right now?
No, we didn't want to do a Breakdown Team of the Week that was literally just... Because we could have very easily picked 4 players from the grand final.
Yeah.
And threw them in there because they deserve to be in there, but we wanted to have some fun and switch it up a bit. But nonetheless, our first player for Breakdown Team of the Week is Selim.
I don't think it's a surprise. This kid has been absolutely insane pretty much ever since he's joined the CDL. We actually got a picture of him at the after party on Sunday.
I'm such a fan of the kid.
Yeah, I don't know if we have that picture available for you guys, but we both walked up to him like morons and were like, "Can we get a picture?"
I went hunting for him. I mean, I heard Selim was in the building, and I said, "Where is he?" And I was walking around hammered. Just, "Where's Selim?" And I looked at him, I said, "Dude, I have to take a picture with you. I mean, it'd be an absolute pleasure to get you in a photograph with me." And
we're not
dude,
bright.
we look like actual fans in the picture, but we are.
Yes, of course. Well, let's talk about some of his stats here really quickly. Overall, for the major, he dropped a 1.33, the highest of the major players. I mean, that alone speaks for itself. The guy is throwing up insane damage, 2,938 per hard point. And that's through 7 hard points. He's throwing up 9 S&D kills per round, just about rounding that up, with a 1.73 in it. And then control, he's averaging about 2,400 damage, and he has a 1.1 in that game mode. So the guy at the major, absolute stud. Again, picking players from each. I mean, if we were to pick an MVP that wasn't from the winning team, he might get it. I mean, that's an insane stat line.
Yeah, I think if you ask a lot of players in the league who the hardest kill in the game is, a lot of them will say Selim. And he's such a good kid too. Like, I just think, look at him, look at us, look
Dude,
at us.
We look like
I mean, he looks pissed off, but
he didn't look happy.
Yeah, no, but
Did he might have.
We had a good. I mean, I was sitting there. I was hammered, and I was just sitting there like, dude, I'm actually a fan of you. Like,
he might have thought we were trolling, like going up asking for a pic.
No, I was, dude. I'm buying a Selim jersey. Yes, I was fucking glazing.
You're sick.
I mean, he's an unreal talent. I think ever since he joined the league, I mean, when we first heard of him, he was banned in 8s, remember, back in like IW. He doesn't look happy. But anyway, Selim, that's our first Team of the Week player.
Yeah.
The kid was lights out. They placed top 3 at the event. And, I mean, I think, how can you argue against seeing that kid on the Team of the Week after a performance like that?
I can't. Next up, I don't think this one is a surprise at all. Even the CDL rated him very highly. We're going in with Scrap. His second time on the Team of the Week or Team of the Major. The kid's an absolute beast. He ends up winning the MVP of the event. We can kind of glance over his stats here, but
1.2 overall. I mean, that's obviously a great tournament to go out there and win a tournament and get MVP and drop a 1.2. It's impressive, dude. I mean, the kid's obviously a shit talker. He likes to run his mouth, and he just backed it up with an MVP tournament championship. So, you know, don't hate the player, hate the game.
No.
It's one of those things where he's been consistent all year, and he's been a fun personality to follow, and without a doubt, currently the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's even arguable. He's got 1 less damage than Selim with 2937 in HP. He's got 0.86 kills per round with a 1.36. I mean, the kid is just an absolute. He's got 2700 damage with a 1.3 in control. I mean, across all game modes, he was probably one of the most consistent ARs that we saw there, and I don't think it's any surprise that he ends up getting that MVP.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk all day about this kid. That's thin ice.
Don't. Yeah, they're not. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought they. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scrap. That's MVP player.
Congrats to him. Congrats to all of Toronto.
Can't talk more about him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hicksy, by the way. I mean, we'll talk more about Toronto later, but Hicksy, I think, proved a lot of us wrong, and by no doubt, Scrap's energy and just the passion he brings, I'm sure, helps that team thrive. So that's Scrap, and
they were all showing love too, man. I've always been a fan of the Toronto team just because they've always shown a lot of respect and been nice guys. So you know, it's nice to see a good group of guys win a tournament. Next up, you can have this one.
We've seen him before, and we'll probably see him again.
We'll see him often.
It is Seattle Surge's Pred.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's an absolute tank. We go back. He had the #1 KD through both qualifiers, Major 2 and Major 3 qualifiers. He had the #1 overall KD as a sub. That is not an easy task at all. The kid's an absolute beast. He had a 1.25 overall at the event with 2,800 damage per 10 minutes in hardpoint. 14 seconds in hill, though. Somebody get
he's
tell Alfred getting that damn hill.
He's alert. I mean, he has Lamar. Yo, Lamar, getting that hill, bro. And Lamar, he's in that fucking hill.
Lamar gets in there.
What's impressive about Pred is the pace of play that he brings. I mean, he's running and gunning. He's up in your face nonstop, and he's still dropping numbers like that. He got a 1.4 in S&D, 1.3 in control. His hardpoint kitty was almost a 1.2, and I think we can obviously say he's the best Australian we've ever seen in Call of Duty.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close either.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid has been a beast. The Thunder from down under, as he's been in the league. I mean, ever since then, he's been an insane talent, and it's no surprise that he's back in for our team of the major. I'm going to announce our last our last player. It's fantastic that we get to show some love to one of the boys. None other than Shotzzy.
He is dumb.
He is dumb, and he is good. I mean, talk about a complete turnaround for this kid. I mean, ever since that first match, he looked like a completely different player up on that stage, just decimating teams, toying with them almost.
Yeah, and I mean, he kind of has like the weight of the world on his shoulders. I think ever since your dumbass retired, he sort of took the throne, if you will, and he's kind of the face of the league now. He's obviously putting his best foot forward in content, but most importantly in game, right? He has a role now and a spotlight on him where his great plays are going to be talked about even more than they would have before, and his bad plays will also be ridiculed a little more. So everybody has his eyes on him. I mean, what a tournament. I think nobody will argue with seeing this kid on the breakdown team of the week. I mean, just lights out and consistent all weekend long.
Yeah. I mean, to even come back from a loser's round one to get to that grand final again, that just takes an unreal amount of grit. They played a lot of matches, and you got to think maybe fatigue set in a little bit at the end there.
Yeah.
It's hard to play that many matches back to back and be in losers from the start of the weekend. It is a grueler. I mean, we can talk about his stats a little bit. He had a 1.07 overall, 1.11 in hardpoint, putting up 2,700 damage, a 0.73 kills per round with a 1.0 in search, but he's getting a lot of first bloods, and 1.05 in control with 2,500 damage. So the kid had a great event. The longevity is one of the reasons why he was picked. I mean, they made it from losers one all the way back. So he was doing something right, and when he's frying, you heard Formal say it, he's probably one of the most impactful players of all time that you can have on your team.
I believe Formal's exact words were he's the best Call of Duty player ever when he's in flow state. And
he was in flow.
Yeah, I mean, he just it's insane how selfless of a player he is and how he can still shine in the kill department. His movement's obviously the best in the game. So we're glazing, and he deserves it because the kid, he's the talent, man. And I think a lot of people were on his ass and talking about how he hasn't really stepped up this year as that player. And I think this weekend was...
they always will be.
Yeah.
OpTic has always been kind of under the microscope, if you will. Like you said, I mean, his plays are examined a lot harder than probably a lot of other main submachine gun players in the league. And it's just a fact. So to be able to play with that amount of pressure, I mean, you got to tip the hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it for a long time, so it's no easy task. Sometimes when things aren't going well, it's
calm it down, buddy.
I know.
Yeah, you were terrible.
I know, I'm sorry. But there is our full team of the major. W's in chat for these guys. They all deserve it. They all deserve it.
I mean, can you imagine spawning in against that roster? I feel like that would be a pretty fucking good roster if they were on a main stage together.
Yeah, that roster would be pretty scary. I mean, talk about the form on some of their snakes.
They would be. I mean, let's see the emote. They'd be snaking.
Yeah, let's see that emote because they would be going crazy. But
Speaking of
our team of the major, we're going to be pulling in Shotzzy for the 1 versus 2. Whenever you guys are ready, whenever Ant's ready, let's hop on into it.
Look at that face, dude. Look at
What's
that
poppin'?
face. Oh, my Lord.
Damn, he
What?
came in.
You are loud in here, I'll tell you that. But what's up, kid? You got scared earlier?
Oh, now you're too far.
All right, what do I know? We're good now,
That's
Yeah,
right?
you're
perfect
good.
right there.
What's up, man? You got scared
what did you
earlier?
say, Zinni?
You got scared earlier? What happened?
Yeah, you scared me. Listen, man, you're only good when you flank, dude. That's what I saw on my stream.
Dude,
Well, he never did that, so.
All right, well, you're only good on headies then.
you sat in corners your entire career.
Yes, I did.
And
And
I,
I
mean,
was good at it.
I can't really say much to this moron right now. But welcome to the 1v2, kid. All jokes aside, I mean, you were insane this past weekend.
Thank you.
I mean,
an insane run.
we're going to talk about on P3 versus, I think it was FaZe on Mercado whenever he did that transition and jumped up big door. It was one of the smoothest things I've ever seen.
Smooth criminal.
It was insane.
I remember whenever
insane.
I was backstage, you were like, dude, it was the smoothest thing I've ever seen. It's like butter. I was like, damn.
It was like he was lubed up with butter, dude, and he was just, I mean, it was insane. You remember it.
I do, but
We
he
might
was
be
what
seeing
with
it
butter?
later.
Lubed up?
Yeah, we might be seeing it later. But Ant, I'm gonna start off with the first question. How's it feel to not have to carry my old ass anymore? Give it to me straight.
You're an idiot. I miss you, dude. Nah, I actually do miss you. You know, our what do you say?
Oh, no, it's just cute. Keep going.
No, I mean, like you were. I mean, I already told you this, but you were definitely one of my favorite teammates, and you know, it's definitely weirder without you. But
Oh, we're glazing.
I'm about to break down and start crying. I mean, it's gonna be a real breakdown. I appreciate that, man. I thought it was gonna be a trollier answer than that, but
oh no, you were an amazing teammate, but yeah, no, we were both trolly. I feel like you got a lot of flack in terms of like your play style and all that, but you were actually definitely one of the unselfish players that I've ever played with. So
that's insane.
Wait,
That's insane. Somebody clip that.
nah, he
Hold
was.
on.
Nah, let me back it up. No, let me back this up because
Then you got a completely different
Nah, no,
version
no,
than
no.
I got because fucking
I
hell.
probably did because my like dude. Anytime I came up with the strat, like bro, for example, right, Tuscan S&D, you know Tuscan, right, isn't he? Like, wait, what team were you on last year?
Vanguard? I was on Boston.
So they probably had you like on S&D on defense, right? They probably had you holding P5, right? B or no?
No, I was top
Basically-
church squaring up every single round.
Basically, the bitch player would basically play B. I mean, it wasn't like
insane.
a bitch player, but like, I mean, that's basically the way I worded it, right? But like, basically, the guy would be just holding P5, making sure no one got through, and like, I know Seth didn't like doing it, but like, I just told him, yo, watch P5, like, trust me, we'll win this
Yeah,
match.
no, that was an
You
annoying
know,
task.
and then he would just do that. Anything I told Seth, he would always do it. There was no like, oh, like no, let me do this. I
And I
mean,
hated
So you think you were the alpha ant?
I mean,
insane.
And he would
no,
just
but
whatever
if
you
Seth
said,
ever
he abided by.
Nah, if Seth ever said something, then like I would obviously listen to Seth. But Seth was like, Seth loved whenever you would tell him to do stuff. I mean, at least
All right.
It's a
whenever I
weird
actually
thing. It's a weird thing I got.
You
going.
like being told what to
It's
do?
a weird thing.
Bark.
All right, let's go to the next question. Because goodness,
And a serious question. So I guess tell everybody at home the difference of online to LAN with sound EQ. I mean, I think everybody's been talking about it, but tell us your experience because we've seen a few times where you were able to make some plays to your advantage that just wouldn't have worked online, in my opinion.
Dude, it is so day and night. Like, bro, one specific play that comes to mind is us against London. I think we were up like, I think it was probably like 3-3 or something like that, or maybe 3-4.
Fortress you're talking about?
No. It was Mercado S&D last map
Okay.
against London. Yeah, so like,
Oh, the mid.
I remember the strat. Brandon was like, yo, let me watch over you guys middle. I was like, I bet. I'm heading straight through middle. Kyler was like, yo, let me follow you. I was like, oh, bet. And so then we ran through the middle, literally no daddy. I didn't give a fuck. I was running no daddy. 3-3. Yo, we lose this map. We're out of the tournament. We banged the door, and then like we jump shot it. We saw no one on the back. We're just running, and then I got a kill in the back, and then Kyler ended up getting a kill, and then from there we won the round. But like, bro, we're not able to do that online. Online, they hear us from fucking mid tunnel. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
it's so day and night, and obviously you saw teams improve throughout the tournament because they got used to it. But you know, it's unfortunate that we have to deal with it online, but
Yeah, let's get rid of it
it
online.
is what
Yeah?
it is, I guess.
I mean,
Let's
it's-
get rid of it
it'd be
online if
hard
we
to
can.
do, but if they can, I mean, why not? But I got another question for you. So, what changed with the team from the winners bracket to the losers bracket? Because you guys looked like a completely different team after that first loss against Boston. I mean, obviously a shaky series against London, but after that, it was dominance.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the first round that we played, we wanted to win too hard, and I feel like when you take yourself out of the moment, or like we were just in the moment too much of like just trying to win. Like if you go to our comms, I'm not sure if they did a listen in that first map, but like Dan was screaming, Kyle, like everyone was screaming, and like we you could just tell we wanted to win way too much, and we were not making the plays that we usually do fundamentally correct. So. Honestly, that was like the biggest thing that we changed going into that day to our next day is that we're like, all right, just calm it down a little bit. Just take this as it is, like practice, do one step at a time. And, obviously from there, you could listen to our listen-ins we were way more calm. We're doing things as a team. We're listening to one another. So definitely the biggest thing was just relaxing, I guess you could say.
I mean, that's a nice answer.
Yeah.
Thanks for the insight. Not talking Jamie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Walk us through your routine on game day. Like major tournament, you're waking up in the morning. Just give us like a brief summary of like the type of food you like to eat, or like the way you warm up, or if there's anything special, or just give us the rundown, because I'm sure a lot of people at home would love to know, I guess, what a top gamer does on a game day.
I would wake up. So luckily enough, I live really close to the esports arena. So I'd wake up in my own house, hop in my slug bug. Well, obviously take a shower, hop in my slug bug, my little car, go to the event, and then from there,
The hell's
yeah,
a slug bug?
He'll show you later. Keep going, Ant.
I'll show you later. Then go to the event, and then from there, contact people. Yo, I want this for food. I'm out. What?
Huh?
He's
You
like
said
the-
contact people?
Yeah, he's like the Capri on
You
set.
know what's crazy? We say that and we get called divas. I just had to go ahead.
I mean, listen, OpTic does it different out here. They're like, yo, you need anything? I got you. I'm like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting there asking these people, yo, I want this. They're like, all right, bet, I got you. So, I'm pretty sure I ate like, what, First Watch, if you guys know what that is. Actually,
Yep.
not. Actually, you know what? I ate Wingstop. That's what I ate for my
Yeah, one of
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
premier
I ate
partners.
Wingstop and Jack in the Box. Shout out those guys. I don't know what I would be doing without those guys. So, yeah, we ate
Sure.
that.
He's good. He's
Sure,
good.
yeah. You got brownie
And
points.
then,
Keep going.
And then honestly, one thing that Kyler put me on was smoothies. Smoothies before game days. I feel like I used to do acai a lot, but smoothies definitely hit the spot. A lot of people don't like drinking their food, but
I mean, I'm a
one of
fat
those
ass. A
guys.
smoothie does nothing to me. I could drink a smoothie and
Yeah,
I
it's-
want food right away.
I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah.
That's how I was. I couldn't do that. They always were like, "You want a smoothie?" I'm like, "No, I need like Chipotle. I need
Yeah.
something like heavy."
yeah, that is hilarious. I remember those days.
Um,
Remember we'd get Starbucks and then like you say like that's fake food.
Dude, literally fake. I'd eat
Aw.
it and then insta hungry.
You guys are reminiscing.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'd eat 2 sandwiches and then be
Hilarious.
hungry by match time and then start shooting whirlwinds. So we got to show some love to the green wall, obviously. How much did the crowd have to do with the bounce back after that first day? And also kind of adding on to that question, did the crowd kind of like affect you guys in that first match? Because you said you guys wanted to win so bad. Was it because you wanted to put on a show so badly for the green wall that it kind of made you guys start over-challing? And then how did you deal with that after?
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. Like we wanted to put on a show, like especially all our family and friends came out, and like we just wanted to win so bad, like I said. And we were just doing way too much instead of just focusing on the little things. So after we lost that match, like I said, we came back and we knew exactly what we did wrong. We just weren't replicating the same stuff that we do in practice, which is like just communicating really well and making sure we're making the fundamental correct plays. And that was literally the biggest difference. Like if you go to listen into between day 1 to day 2, 3, 4, or wait, did we play 4 days?
Yeah,
Or whatever.
Yeah, you guys
But,
played 4 days.
yeah, it was completely 9 days. So that was definitely the biggest turnaround for sure.
Yeah.
But just our comms.
So I have a question for you. It's about your play style, and I talked a bit earlier how you're kind of under a microscope and a spotlight, if you will, where you will kind of get ridiculed if you get first blooded or if you try making a play and it's like, oh, Ant needs to learn how to slow down. You can make that same play the next round and get a 2-piece, and you're kind of the hero. So I guess just walk us through that type of play style and how you're able to stay that confident even when you know your play style is so impactful, and also like if you do get blooded, people are on your ass. I guess just talk to us about your play style, really.
Yeah, my play style is like I feel like I try to do everything as much as possible as a sub player, because I do know that obviously you guys know that the sub players win you the games for the most part, for the majority of the games, and you want to be as impactful as you can on the map, whether that's either get your hills, block. You kind of want to just do everything essentially, right? So that's what I try to replicate every single day. I try to be annoying whenever the people are trying to kill me. Obviously, there's times where I'm doing a little too much, and obviously I'm just trying to balance all that stuff, and I'm trying to do that stuff day to day, and I feel like I'm slowly getting there throughout the season. And for your question about the plays, like I feel like in S&D, there's been times. I mean, Seth could probably relate to this, but there's times where like you didn't make a play that you wanted to do in the moment, and then you lose that match, and then you regret not making that play, wondering what could have happened. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh, that
that's-
always happens.
So that's why, like, I always try to make a play, whether it's either the play that is in my head that I think is the best play. I always do it no matter what, because of the fact that like I never want to lose a game and then be like, oh, I could have done this, because like that's the worst thing, losing and then saying like, oh, I could have done this better. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I
like,
always try to make the best play that I think that's in my head as soon as possible.
It's like when you're taking a test, you got 4 answers in front of you. First thing that comes to mind, you're usually right. But then you start thinking, and then you get
Correct.
it wrong.
I didn't know you were going with that, and now I like what you just put down.
Like the Scantron test, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Fuck
that was
yeah.
good.
I used to put C, and I was like, yo, this one's low key C, but like ain't no way it's 4 C's, right?
Okay,
I
listen.
used to be one of those guys.
Okay, well, can you tell us your GPA real quick? Because we discussed it prior. What was your GPA in school, if you don't mind sharing?
1.5 or some shit.
Yeah,
like that.
okay.
I mean, if you drop that in COD, that's insane, though.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Do I
but
have the final question?
if you want to ask
I have
one
one
more, I was
final
gonna-
one. What do you call your
Okay.
Twitch subscribers, Ant?
Jesus.
The fucking cum shots, baby.
Thank
Yo,
you,
shout
Ant.
out my
It's been-
cum shots, man. Yo, dab me up.
I mean, it's
That's insane.
yeah. I mean, it's really stupid. But Ant, thank you.
Thanks, Ant.
We love you.
Yes,
I
sir.
hate you, but you're a talent, man, and you're dumb.
Thank you, Zinni. Zinni, you're dog shit. You've only won 2 events. I'm out of here, boys. Peace out.
What the
Oh
fuck?
my God, he's right down the hall.
Dude, I'll go spear him right now.
That is insane.
I'll go spear him right now. What a sack of shit.
I mean, that guy is one of the most annoying players on the map that I think we've ever seen in Call of Duty history.
Yes.
And do you think it's just because he's so dumb that you don't know what he's going to do?
He was so stupid in school that somehow, some way, they had to gift him insane FPS knowledge. Apparently, he was like the best Halo player ever. Like, Former was telling us in the couch that like people in Halo think that kid's a god. Now in
Like,
Call of Duty,
afraid of him. Like,
yeah,
they see him in the lobby and they fear that they have to play him.
yeah,
Imagine that.
yeah. I was never scared.
I mean, you definitely were scared going into some series.
No,
You don't think so?
sometimes.
Sometimes. I mean, you're going to have the butterflies.
Sometimes.
Next segment, I'm going to let you take this one away because, yeah, you deserve it.
So for our next segment, deep dive. There it is.
You were getting worried there for a second?
Yeah, I wasn't getting worried. If you're new, deep dive is the segment where we kind of really go in depth and break down gameplay. And
Yep.
like he said earlier, we now have the high-tech technology to make sure there's no frame rate or lag. Fingers crossed, hopefully.
Yep.
And we'll be walking you through the map. We'll be breaking it down. We'll be pausing, talking about spawns,
So
breaks.
I may have taken out one map that we were going to do.
Okay.
I may have taken it. I'm not going to say what it was.
Okay.
But I think we're going to do 2 full maps today. I think a lot of people can probably guess which one is one of them. And then we're going to do one like miniature one just to, I mean, keep the time constraints within a reasonable, reasonable time. So
You don't got to explain yourself, man.
I just want to explain to the chat a little bit. Without further ado, let's hop into our first map. It's Hotel Hardpoint. You can clearly tell that. Vegas versus Thieves. I mean,
I lost some money here.
sorry, I accidentally exited out. Potentially one of the biggest breakdowns that we have
no pun
ever
intended.
seen in Call of Duty history. This comeback rivals some of the insane ones. Take me through the start here, Zen.
Yeah, I mean, Thieves look dominant to the point where I even make a wager on stream where I say I'll gift everybody on the couch 100 subs because I thought it was so out of reach for Vegas. And spoiler, sorry, Vegas somehow come back from like a 207 to 60 deficit, and I lost about $1,500 because of it. So
270 to 60? That's mathematically impossible.
I said 270?
I think so.
207, I said.
Oh,
I think.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
hearing things. But here we
Yeah.
go. We've got Thieves starting on that good side. So there's a misconception on this map for some people that maybe don't play as much, and they think good side is starting on P2 side. It's actually the opposite, Zen. Talk to me about why that is.
Yeah, so when you're spawning on that hot tub side, you can beat them to the hill, and also you can just throw tacks to every single cut, right? You can stun double arches, you can stun big door, and also no one has dead silence this early, so you can sound whore the top cat pinch, you can sound whore connector, you can throw tacks literally everywhere, couches, connector, everywhere, and you beat them to hill. So I mean, P2, is actually not the right or not the best spawn.
Well, you see
but
here.
you think it would be.
Yeah, you see right here, I mean, off the rip, LA gets 40 seconds off of the P1 hill because they spawn close. They end up getting the kills. If you get the kills, you're going to soak up some time. But then they put them in the super hyper blender, and they win the P2 rotation, and they're up 61-0. At this point, we're watching this series. We were probably saying this is over.
Yeah,
I mean, they come out like this.
Especially talking about Thieves. I mean, obviously, we know now they did not have a tournament that any of us expected. None of us saw Thieves going home at the hands of the Vegas Legion, but nonetheless,
you got to give credit to Legion as well.
100%.
I mean, Legion. So it's one of those Call of Duty moments. So Call of Duty, I think, is one of the most fragile esports in the world in terms of getting comebacked on. I mean, there's obviously comebacks in every esport, don't get me wrong, but Call of Duty, there's so many minuscule decisions, split-second decisions that are going down that you make a couple of those in a row that are wrong, things start to spiral out of control.
Yeah, and let's just talk about P3 for a moment. So P3 on Hotel, the small kitchen, as we all know, you kind of have...
You love the kitchen.
It's a very hard hill to break. Yeah, the snakes are in. It's a hard hill to break.
I meant in real life.
Yeah, so do you. Why are you talking like, yeah.
I need to get I'm sorry.
So Thieves just have them in the super duper blend here. I mean, look where Vegas is spawning. They're constantly spawning middle, and Thieves knows that. So Envoy pushes the diner. He gets a couple kills. He knows all fronts clear. Vegas kind of has
look at
no
this
way
setup.
to retake this. Thieves are just... Go ahead.
Yeah, look at this setup. So you have 5 pushing out diners. So the spawns here are like diner side, like back here, or they're middle whenever you have both of them pushed out. So right here, they have 7 watching the cross middle on an off angle, which is draws. They have 5 pushed up in diner. He's going to be getting cuts rug.
And it's a great off angle, too, because whoever's rounding couches is going to be aimed towards, like, that mid-heady hop. They're not going to be centered on this.
This is an insane off angle.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about off angles. And
I'm not talking Kurt angle.
Correct. We talk about off angles in terms of, like, not getting camera. You use that one a lot.
Yeah,
I don't even react to it.
I love it.
But we talk about off angles. This is one of them where people would normally expect you to be on this back heady or on this pool heady right here. But he's in just an off angle, and he's going to get minimum 1. I mean, unless he just gets world starred, which we'll let it play out just to show you guys what happens. But, yeah, he gets a freebie right there, starts rotating bottom bed because he thinks someone's taking a long route, but they're not even doing that. They're just in a super ultra.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best play from Vegas here, obviously in hindsight, is try to send someone around that bed pinch and pinch bottom bed to shoot draws on the side. That being said, in the heat of the moment in a match like this, it's a lot easier to talk where we're sitting. But I don't think anybody looked at this map and saw a world where Vegas could win it at this very moment. I mean, it's 120-15, and Thieves are just all out frying. So,
I don't think there was a single person in the world. If there was like a Vegas betting, like the odds at a certain point in the game, because don't they update usually?
Yeah.
The odds were probably insane. I mean, it's 130-17 right here. You see Thieves trying to work around the back. Typically, teams will do a 3-1 here and send 3 of their people around the back to try to clear these guys back spa. Back P2, which is what Thieves does, and again, they just make it look way too easy. They kill 3 through the back, and they're in. Now they got them trapped. And on this hill, I don't really think. Obviously, there's a better side on this hill to hold down, but when you're in this trap, it's kind of impossible. Like, look at Thieves. They're forcing them through 2 chokes.
Yeah, if your communication's on point here, you know that Vegas can only come through back spa door and through like the main door. And even if they get kills, every single person is off spawn, coming and throwing tacks, stuns and nays towards spot or main door. You can pinch mid. So Vegas is in a bad spot here, especially in a land match when everybody's on point and has a trap going. Very, very tough, especially versus one of the top talented teams in the world. So
yeah,
Thieves so far have been playing perfect. They're also winning a lot of fights that Vegas maybe could be winning or should be winning, but right now, Thieves is just absolutely frying. They have rotation to P4 here, and I mean, literally, they were in the driver's seat the entire game up until they weren't.
Look at that again. I mean, they literally walk in. So I'm going to back up here and just show you guys how this unfolds. So basically on this, rotating into the diner hill, this is something you see a lot. You'll see either 1 or 2 people go around kitchen. They know that someone's going to be kitchen because in this scenario, the reason why the team's set up like this is because they're blocking this side spawn satellite or chandelier, whatever you call it, and they're blocking this side kitchen, so they're kind of funneling them through rugs and like double arches, or they have to take the long route around. So it's like that's the ultimate setup that you can have off the rip of the hill. just because if you get the kills, you put them in a blend. If you get 4 dead here, they're in a blend.
Yeah, and also rule of thumb, like you kind of want to hold kitchen side here on this hill because the next hill is back deck. It rotates to like the back side of the map. And essentially, if you get kills and you have kitchen side, like you said, they're all going to flood chandelier. They can wrap big door, but also based on where thieves will spawn, they could literally just flood hill and get there right away. They can easily pick up mid. I mean,
look at this scenario.
It's nearly impossible to break when a team has this setup.
So I'm guessing the 8 kind of blocks this because, I mean, they're not spawning here. So, but like, look where they're spawning. They're spawning P4 right here. I mean, what are like...
And it takes a decent amount. I mean, like, they're forced to wrap right and then cut through mid. It's...
And an off angle again out of Kenny.
And keep in mind, like, thieves right now, their comms are on point. So if they don't see anybody in front of them, they're wrapping mid, they're wrapping right. So Vegas... They can't do anything here. Luckily, they're able to get some kills and push through. But look, the spawns are still in for thieves. The only thing thieves have to do now is hold. I mean, there's so many head glitches back there. They're spawning up attacks. It's the fact that this map ended without thieves winning it's definitely one of the craziest comebacks in Call of Duty history.
I mean, right here at this point in the game, thieves have the back plat rotation. They have all of kitchen control. Kenny pops a 2-piece. He ends up getting traded because they gave up scrap. But I believe that this is where the comeback starts, and they even get 2 kills off the rip of this hill. They get 3 kills.
Yeah, and real quick, just rewind just like 2 skips. So Vegas actually spawns 2 of them spa, but because they get 2-pieced, thieves actually spawn on like a natural pinch, and notice how where they spawn. So it is ideal for Vegas to spawn them out behind them, but then they drop. And then thieves are pushed up in spots where they can just turn around and spawn kill. Watch. Vegas will spawn up spa. They're forced to go front and mid. And now those players are already pushed up, cutting them.
And Tej is their only hope right here. And Tej goes big. I mean, he ends up dying, but he gets another one. He kind of forces them to turn around. They still get 3 deaded, but, dude, what was the score? It was 207 to 63, I'm assuming? Or 60-something?
Something like that. I'm pretty sure it's 207 to 67 or something. Yeah, 63.
This right here, that was big. What just happened right there, I want to highlight this just because if Sam doesn't die right here, so you see thieves get 2 kills, Vegas comes right back with 2 kills, and if Sam doesn't die right here, I think this game is over. I'm not kidding.
Mean, yeah, it would be 230 to 63.
Because Sam's going to hold an off angle in hill. He can either come backstairs or he's doing the jump up right in front of him, which is an absolute freebie. But since Sam dies out of hill here, kind of over-challing, it allows Vegas to not give up another 30 seconds, which would be just, I mean, that's dagger time at that point. You're not.
I mean, to be fair, the dagger time has already occurred. Like, no matter what, thieves should win this game 10 out of 10 times. The fact they didn't, of course, you got to give Vegas their flowers. They obviously made the comeback. But, I mean, the amount of misplays we're about to watch from thieves to allow this to happen,
so you're telling me right there, if Sam doesn't die,
no,
they don't win. They don't auto win this map.
No, I agree with you. But I'm saying, nonetheless, even disregarding that, this game should be over. 10 out of 10 times, this game should be over. I agree with you. If Sam gets that time, the game should be over. But either way, the game should be over. I mean, it's 206 to 83.
I completely agree. I mean, but here you're going to see Vegas kind of get that good side of the map again. Teams typically want to spawn in kitchen here to try to fight for that P1 time just because it is the closest spawn, and you kind of see a little bang out. Vegas just ends up ultimately winning the trades and allowing, they're giving thieves the P2 spawn, which right here, I mean, Thieves is probably still fine with this. They're still up 100 points. They're about to have a free P2 rotation, and you kind of see them just back off of this time.
Yeah, so Sam gets butted there, and Thieves are in the ideal spot. Yeah, they lose fights P1. Thieves, Vegas get P1 scrap. But you spawn P2, and now all you have to do is pretty much make one wave of kills to win the game. And somehow, some way, Vegas, they find the kills, and what was looking like a clear-cut win for Thieves starts to get sketchy. But even now, I mean, we're sitting on that couch and we're saying this is still over.
This is still over.
Thieves are going to win. I threw up $1,500 because I thought this game was over. And then you see the kill feed. It starts becoming orange and orange and orange. And now Thieves have to break, and they get some kills, but they don't really do much with it.
I mean, I want to talk about it. I mean, Vegas kind of does the impossible probably 2 or 3 times here, because breaking a setup, getting 4 dead, and being able to soak most of the time, I mean, the chances that happens like 4 times in a row, which is inevitably what ends up happening, it's so hard to do at this level, especially against a team like Thieves, and that's why this is so shocking, because You don't see teams at the caliber of Thieves lose games like this.
And they were also in a pretty good spot there, Thieves. I mean, like, sure, Vegas have rotation to P2, but they're spawning in spots where they can kind of trap them back P2. And you saw it goes kill for kill, 2-piece for 2-piece. Sam finds 2. Nonetheless, Thieves can't actually keep them trapped. They don't block that kitchen spawn, so someone from Vegas actually spawns there. So even if Thieves didn't get a full trap going, they still had the spawns that kept Vegas pinned in the back, and then they had rotation to kitchen. That doesn't happen, and somehow Vegas is now in kitchen, snaking their asses off.
Vegas is back in. We talk about it all the time. The snakes are in. This is a hard one to break. If your push gets staggered on the kitchen hill, you're basically fucked. I mean,
well, also let's talk about just like the mental that's going on for Thieves right now.
They're breaking.
Now they're frantic. Like they had such a clear-cut win in the palm of their hands, and next thing you know, now they're breaking kitchen. So they have great communication. Obviously, a lot of
some of the best in the league.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we'd probably give them best comms in the league, at least before this tournament.
I might give them best comms.
They have great comms, but you have to assume, I mean, the game's pretty much over, and next thing you know, they're trying to break kitchen. And at that point, no matter who you are, you're like, in your head, you're like, what the fuck is going on? We're breaking kitchen. And things definitely get hectic. But nonetheless, I mean, still not a bad spot for Thieves. I mean, They have rotation to P4. They know that all of Vegas has to be in front of them. They can either long route around and pinch all the way around, or come front and try to break us off headies.
I mean, this game just gets more and more insane because you can feel it. Every single time there's a rotation, you just see someone get blooded on Thieves. And it always just snowballs into a break. And you see it right there again. Dylan gets picked L-Desk. Probably didn't want to die right there. They sniff the guy out couches, and then they know they're all in the back. And Vegas essentially just flips the map on.
Rewind real quick. I love Sam's play here. His attempt to kind of re-break this. Notice, I think it's number 3. Big Door actually picks up Sam on the pinch. Or I didn't see exactly who it was, but watch the route Sam's going to take. Instead of just flooding hill and getting spammed by attacks, he's actually trying to take a longer route and pinch around couches and get a pick. Number 3, that's Donnie, who had an unreal tournament, by the way.
That's an unbelievable read.
That's a huge – that was a huge kill from Don, and honestly, a game-winning kill right there. Because if Sam pinches couches and shoots this guy off this heady, he opens up the map for his team.
I don't know. Do you think he got hurt right
I don't know. It's
because that is an insane read.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of assume that somebody might take a route there, but you think they're going to shortcut like double arches. You don't think they're going to go all the way around Ruggs and try to make that play. And then this was controversial right here. I want to talk about it. Do you think this is a stair glitch?
I would have to see the POV of the players because it looks like he wasn't trying to. Like, he looks backed up off the stairs. If he was inched up a little more, without a doubt, he was trying to do it. But I don't think he was trying to do it there.
Apparently you can.
What?
You can stair glitch right there. I didn't think you could. I thought you could only do it on, like, the rug stairs looking to, like, back chandelier.
Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is that there shouldn't exist. So it's hard to fault the Clay there because he's just laying down, holding an off angle, knowing where they're about to come. If he, in his head, knew what he was doing and he met the stair glitch, yeah, it's a little weird. If not, can't fault him at all. It's just one of those things that, I mean, I would love to see it patched and fixed so we don't have this bullshit where people are, you were stair glitching, blah, blah, blah. Like, especially in the heat of the moment when they're trying to win a game and, I don't think right there in his head he's like, I'm going to stair glitch. Maybe. I mean, he's a sick guy.
He might.
He's a sick guy, but
it might
I don't
have been
think
in his head. But, I mean, you see the final bang out here and, I mean, that is warranted.
Look at him, yeah.
I mean, did you think that this? I thought that Thieves still were going to win this series.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised Too Real doesn't just chuck his pillow at Octane because I would just frisbee it across the stage after a map like that. It's 207 to 63. Unacceptable map from Thieves. I mean, I'm sure that goes without saying, but also I don't think. I mean, I hope we do, but I would find it hard to believe that we'll see a comeback like that happen again this year.
That was insane.
That is nearly.
I gotta stop saying
I mean, that's unlosable. Yeah, we say I mean a lot.
Yeah, that is an unbelievable scenario. Props to Vegas. We're not going to see that. Yeah. We're not going to see that again. But we thought that we'd throw this in there as kind of like a little bonus for you guys. We have the round 11, Seattle versus FaZe. Probably the series of the event right here. I mean,
this was one of the best series ever. In the control, it comes down to a 1v1 on points. Cellium versus Pred. Pred actually wins it. Next thing you know, it's 2-1. Seattle, they had an insane lead on Fortress Hardpoint Map 4, just like they did at Major 1 against the same team, FaZe and Surge. Somehow, some way, again, FaZe make that comeback in Fortress. The whole world is talking about what the hell is happening again. Surge, they're able to close out Map 4. Fast forward, we go to a 5-5.
And look at this ballsy
Last
call out
map.
of FaZe. I just want to highlight what they do in this round 11. So you see this strat in ranked a lot. They throw their pre-nades over. They double nade over back orange, and then Abe just runs through orange.
He doesn't give a single fuck.
Instantly with an AR.
Yep.
He wasn't even using a sub. And he ends up getting the blood on Mac, but I believe he gets naded to all hell here.
After he survives these nades, I thought it's over. And next thing you know, Sib finds a grenade and a sniper
I
pit.
thought right here it was over. I thought they got info on this guy P2. I thought Pred was just going to fly at him. They get him weak, crossing back P2. I thought that was the round. And instead of flanking, Simp goes back through their side, which ends up being a god play. Just because they probably think he's just pinching at this point.
Yeah. I mean, right here, 2v3, you have to assume that FaZe at the disadvantage, right? Sib finds a big 2 to give him numbers advantage. And what unfolds is pretty nutty, especially because Pred, I believe, has 16 at this point. He dropped 16 in a map 5, 17 or 16.
Against FaZe.
I think it was 16 in the map 5 loss.
And this play out of Simp was also insane. Simp runs through bottom orange knowing that they're probably going B with the bomb. He just runs, he takes his timing, and he just gets out. And he ends up getting a kill out of it. And then, obviously, we know what's next. This is...
I mean, he just got deleted.
That is insanity.
That was like a Thanos snap where he saw him, and next thing you know, he was gone for 5 years.
He's 35 health right here.
Yeah.
He's 35 HP.
I mean, and Pred was making the right play, right? I mean, he hears someone's weak. You know, this guy's going to run back right in front of me, orange. Like, I'm about to go get this trade for free. He's weak.
Yeah.
This is free. Next thing you know, he gets shotgun to hell. That's one of those unlucky things where you can't fault Pred at all. And I can almost guarantee that Simp was even shocked by getting that kill.
Yes.
And FaZe get it done. So
look at him.
I think there's a real argument to make that Surge probably should have won that series in a reverse sweep fashion. But
I mean, look at
an insane sequence of events. Yeah. I mean, how can you... And you got to feel for them because that comeback would have been insane.
The tournament's different. This was in the winter semis. This is a completely different layout of the tournament. And that's why we kind of talk about how Call of Duty is just so fragile. Imagine that goes the way of Seattle.
Yep.
How different does the tournament look?
You can make an argument for Surge making a tournament run and winning the tournament there. I mean, they beat FaZe in a fashion like that, reverse sweep, a confident team like that with a player like Pred, a player like Sib. They're a good-ass team. And somehow, some way, FaZe clutches that up. And, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
I do want to say I'm happy for the Seattle guys. They were obviously receiving a lot of flack. They had a pretty turbulent stage 2, especially in Search and Destroy.
They had an awful stage 2.
They had an awful I mean.
They were – it's just like last year, man. They have a terrible stage, which makes no sense for a team of that caliber. And it gives them that wake-up call. They start taking practice more serious. They all start hitting form individually and as a team. And now they're contenders once again, I think. Like, I think they can beat any team, at least in respawns, and their searches have looked a lot better. No one is playing Surge like they were in Stage 2 and go into that saying, oh, we're playing Surge. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are contenders again.
Next, we've got our final map of the deep dive. We're going to take a look at some of the grand finals. Let us know if you guys want to see Search and Destroy deep dives because obviously Search and Destroy doesn't really get looked at or talked about much. We're not going to do it in this episode again for time constraints. We don't want to, have 2.5 hours long. But let us know if you guys do want to see some Search because I'd have no problem breaking it down. It's a little bit slower of a game mode. But start us off here. What are you seeing?
I mean, we saw Ant or Shotzzy in the water literally all weekend long on this map. He's just a pain in your side, right? His movement's obviously insane, and no matter what, the team he's playing against is going to be paranoid because they know that he's always going to be taking routes. And it's one of those things where it's like a mind game, right? Sometimes he'll take a route, and sometimes he'll stay above water. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I stunned the water expecting him to be there, and next thing you know, he's on land. So
yeah,
the kid plays mind games, but also Ultra. I mean, they have a player like Kleenex who is another pain in your side. I mean, he had an insane tournament. I'm not going to lie. If we did breakdown team of the week just from the finals, I mean, it probably would have been Dashy, Scrap, Shotzzy, Kleenex.
Yes.
I mean, he was insane, not only all major long, but all stage long. I mean, he was, without a doubt, I think, for the entire stage, a top 3 sub.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
But so let's just talk about a little bit about the map right here. So you see Toronto do a really good job. They get the good side start, and they hold that P2 spawn, which usually isn't very easy because you'd see teams take a very long route. You'd see people try to go through like back castle or back ruins, whatever people call it, basically where 4's at right now, or take a water route and try to get through. Toronto sniffs out all of those water routes.
Yeah, and that's just going to happen sometimes, right? I mean, you can't flip all the time. They start on bad side. Toronto takes advantage of it. So far, so good for Toronto, but this is kind of how you'll see the sequence go on this map. If a team does hold that P2 spawn off the good side, they'll go up to a score like 75-6, and then the team that didn't hold P2 spawn will usually have rotation of gas or P3. But even now, I mean, Toronto's in a decent spot because if they make kills, they're just going to trap OpTic in the back. Like, there's only so much you can do because also they'll trade kills. If OpTic keeps spawning in the back, Toronto's going to spawn dome, and people are just going to stun nade over that top gap every single time and help their teammates who are in hill fighting.
So we always say that this hill is one of the 2 hills on this map that is just a grade A bang out most of the time. I mean,
I know all about it.
Yeah, I mean, we see Zinni have a tough go at this against OpTic at
thank you. That was my last tournament, my last match.
Yeah, Brandon just absolutely lays sack in that one. But
mushroom stamp
right here, Toronto. They honestly do a decent job. OpTic also does a very good job. They end up splitting that time. They end up flipping Toronto to the back here, and this is kind of where they start a little bit of a comeback here. I mean, right
now it's Operation Kill number 5. As soon as this guy dies, we turn. Everybody's coming front. Maybe some water routes, but we have map control here.
And that's a huge play out of Ghosty. I want to highlight this. I mean, I got to stop saying it. I can't stop saying it. It's insane.
It's all right.
But Ghosty gets to the back here undetected, which is huge. They kill number 4 and Kyler. He gets to the back and does exactly what he needs to.
Yeah.
He plays his time. Gets one in the back. Watch number 6 now. Number 6 turns around, tweaking, because now he knows Ghosty's in the back. It's the most important kill on the map right now. It's not close.
Correct.
They got to kill him to maintain that spawn. He turns his attention. 2 comes in, kills him off the Godheady. Boom. OpTic, I'm assuming they win this rotation. Well, actually, they get traded 2 for 2, but they should spawn in the back here, and they will spawn in the back because let's talk about it. We've got number 6 blocking P5, which is the other spawn point on this. I believe there's a P1 spawn. There's a P1 spawn, right?
Yeah.
It's like a secondary spawn.
Yep.
But the 2 main spawns are P5 and in the back here on P4. But since they're all blocked, we should spawn in the back. Toronto should continue spawning out front P5. And you see that a lot of the time when you're rotating to that next hill.
Yeah, I mean, OpTic's in a good spot here to get some of this time. And obviously now Ultra spawns on new. So this hill is a lot of trading time. Like right here, obviously, OpTic hope to get this 30 seconds. And this next hill is kind of a mixy hill. It's definitely a money hill if you can hold it, but it's not easy to hold it. You'll see people hop on top of that back rock and block every single spawn to force spawn people front. Why are you smiling?
Dude, look at this. I mean, look what happens here. I'm sorry to
no, you're
I'm sorry
fine.
to cut you off,
you're
but
good.
look what Ant does. I mean, we talk about he's on a 6 right now.
Yeah.
People tell him to get out of the water, but then he does shit like this, and you're like, what?
I mean, it's so hard to read because you're focused about people on time and throwing tacks at you.
Did you just see that?
Yeah, he's just gliding. He's like Dr. Manhattan. He's walking on water.
He just drive by the guy. Someone dove in and he dove out like a dolphin.
Yeah, he's an asshole. I'll tell you that. But this hill. If so, on this rotation, right? Once this hill pops, if Toronto does get a full wave and they block both spawns from that top rock, you're in a rough spot. You can only come front. You can like wrap back ruins and try breaking front. You can cut through the bridge, but you're pre-aimed and they know exactly where you're coming from. Ideally, you get around the back and you make it mixy. You sort of force back spawns and front spawns to create a natural pinch. And we'll see how it works out. Toronto has rotation, but like I said, this is not like a hill that's very easy to hold. Like you can walk through the window and get a pick and get out. It's very back and forth, I feel like.
I wanted to say it's one of the reasons why I picked this map out, because typically hills in the game, if one team is very, very good at it, I always want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And this specific hill, Toronto is the best team in the game at this hill.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they play this, the way that they control the spawns, it's incredible. Because typically we'll see this hill, grade A bang out. Nobody really secures a majority of the time. Toronto, though, they control it so well. They have this hill down.
It's all map knowledge, right? Like, they're going to manipulate the spawn and make you come front. And as soon as someone's not in a spot to spawn you out front, they're going to know. They're going to say, number 1 spawning in the back.
Look at this, though. Look at this. They get kills, and they instantly allow them to flip to the back.
Yep, which is, I mean, the 10 out of 10 correct play if you know how to do it and when to do it.
Yeah. They flip them out right back to the back, and this is perfect scenario for them. They're getting some of this last P5 time. They're still getting kills. Look at number 8. He's going to do the same thing. They actually end up spawning in the back there again, but we get parallels. He goes out and blocks that P1 spawn to force them back here so that they can get this old time, have them trapped, and set up for P1. It's an insane play out of Toronto right here that wasn't really talked about very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's Call of Duty 101, right? I mean, usually you want to hold the anchor and hold back spawns for the first 30 seconds. As soon as you make that wave at 30 seconds, you sprint forward and you get ready for them to spawn in the back, and then you try to trap them for the new hill. So if you're a ranked player looking for some tips, hold the back, and then at 30 seconds, flip them.
Right here again, you see OpTic do a very good job. This looks a lot different than the first P1 to P2 rotation. There's still 42 seconds on this P1 hill, but we end up getting through to the back. I'm going to rewind it really quick just in case people missed it. You see 4 take that long route. Number 7 gets a kill. Doesn't expect this number 4 to come back. Shoot him in the back, and then boom, right away, get spawns for that P2, which is massive because, again, the P1 to P2 is a big chain. If you can pull it off, you can end up getting probably, I would say, around 100 seconds if you do it flawlessly.
Yeah, well, so right now, OpTic
and we don't
in
do
an
it
ideal
flawlessly.
situation.
We get 3 deaded, 4 deaded.
Yeah, so ideally they have P2 spawns. They have P1 control. They can send one player into red and just spawn trap and just switch corners. You're up top, running down the stairs, jumping the side pipes. That player can do whatever he wants red as long as we're blocking the P2 spawn. Toronto make a big wave of kills.
Let's listen to their listening.
Sure.
We heard it once before, but yeah, let's listen to their listening. Oh, they won't be able to hear it? Oh, okay, so we'll just keep going. You guys won't be able to hear the listening. All good. You guys heard it anyway, and if you guys do want to watch it on your own time, it's on the Call of Duty channel. And yeah, so we have the back P2 spawn here. Toronto trying to force their way through to P1. I don't remember if we get a hold here. It looks like we do. Dan gets a big 2-piece. It's actually interesting. 2, if he spawns, if 2 spawns half a second later, he spawns in the back. But this could low-key end up being a good thing because he gets a natural pinch there on that. If he waits 1 second, he spawns in the back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried for number 4 here. He's about to get sort of hit out quick, but they should have spawn knowledge on that. If they're spawning in the back and they're spawning out front, they'll know they have to flood through ruins and broken. So there's a line in broken that will block the P2 spawn. If you cross that doorway of
where's the line?
Or
tell us where that line's at. Yeah, use the cursor. Yeah.
Where's broken? Other side of the map. Wait. Yeah.
That's broken.
Yeah, so right here.
If you go through that door, it blocks it?
Yeah. If a player goes through that door, that should be blocking the back spawn.
All right, let's see it unwind. Let's see if it actually ends up happening. So here we go. Number 5 pushes through. I mean, 4 just gets bad timing. He walks right in, ends up making a kill, probably gets traded, and they probably end up losing the rest of the scrap because we're going to spawn in the back, and they're going to rotate over to the P3 hill, which, again, these guys were very good at P3s and P5s. Again, a listen in. We're not going to be able to hear it, so we're just going to keep on going.
Yeah, and right here, who is that? Sorry, I can't see. Kyler's huge right now. I mean, at this point, he's trying to play spoiler, trying to find a kill in the back and be annoying, play back gas, because
they know he's through. Look at number 5.
They know he's through, but they don't know exactly where he is, obviously. And I like the play he makes. He's playing it slow. He's playing it reserved. And as soon as his teammates start getting to a spot where he can make a play, he's going to hit the rotation or hit the pinch. I mean, they find 2. And now they're actually in the best spot you can ask for, right? They're going to spawn them in the back gas. And if OpTic can hold most of this time, they have the spawns where they should have rotation and next. And, 1 second it should be an Ultra masterclass. And next thing you know, it's flipped on their heads.
Yeah. And Ultra, again, getting that back spawn. They end up getting 1 kill. End up trading out kills. OpTic, right here when we were watching, I thought that this was going to be a turning point in the game. I thought we were going to end up chaining. But, again, Toronto ends up making those kills. They end up clearing out the point. They end up getting a huge 20 seconds to scrap at this point because, again, if we end up getting that 20 seconds, it's 150 to around 170. Yeah, they're going to have rotation, but if we got scrap, we'd more than likely hold them in the back as well. And you see here, I mean, we have a flawless rotation anyway, which ends up being nice.
Shout out to Toronto, too, because, I mean, that's not an easy hill to re-break, especially when you're spawning back gas. Once again, you're getting bombarded by tax. Even if you find a couple kills, those players are spawning at a spot where they're just going to bombard you with nades and stuns. Toronto make some great plays there to make it scrappy and stop OpTic from getting scrap time and holding that spawn trap. And you're right, the rotation's in, and
it looks good. Now, right here, this looks great. But again, we get a bad timing on hill. Toronto just played this map so scrappy. I mean, every time.
I don't think it's easy to hold this either.
Sorry, say that again.
I don't think it's easy to hold this hill necessarily. Like, I feel like this is a hill where it's always going to get scrappy because they're going to come up front, jump up top broken, jump to that rock, and they're throwing tacks. It's not. It is a money hill if you hold it, but I feel like it's not like the easiest hold in the game.
It is a little bit deceiving, and again, I just want to highlight Toronto. They just play this map so damn well. I mean, right here, you see this 4 dead. This is a huge win. I just want to. That's 20 seconds going their way. On top of that, you see OpTic getting this P3 spawn, but look at number 5. He knows they're spawning there. He just has his 6th sense activated, ends up getting 1. If he gets 2 there, it's an insane play.
Yep.
Because he would have flipped out 2 of us right off the rip, or 3 of us, actually.
Yep.
But instead, we got Ant. Ant going rogue up top.
And this is exactly who you want up top, I'll tell you that. And I think top's like one of the best places to have control here. Unfortunately, he gets traded, but it's not easy to kill people up top because those railings you get no aim assist through. So he can essentially run around up top. He can jump on the railing, pinch the back, lay down up there. It's not an easy kill. He will fall. But we're actually in the best possible spot here. I mean, we're holding time while simultaneously spotting them out front, which is exactly what you want.
Big play.
But number 5, Scrap.
Scrap with a huge play right there. Ends up getting 2. Kind of staggers our push and makes us tweak and ends up spawning us out again. I'm telling you, Toronto plays this hill the best in the game right now.
Let's show that again
Take
because
notes.
that was, I think, the hill-breaking, map-changing play right there. Like
This
that
is
two-piece.
the game-winning play.
This if Scrap does not find this 2-piece and instead dies with even if he finds 1 and he gets traded, all of Ultra's forced to flood front. They lose the lead, and then OpTic has momentum. They're going to pinch around deep P2, but Scrap finds the game-winning 2-piece, really.
This is a huge 25. At this point in the game, getting this extra 20 seconds puts them about 20 seconds from winning, which on this map, that's basically 1 break.
Yep.
We do get in. We do contest. I'm pretty sure Insight gets a 3-piece here on the hill. Just, again, an annoying 3-piece because look at the spawns now. We're spawning at old. Number 4 is the only person out, and I'm pretty sure this is where we just straight up lose the game. They end up making their kills here on this rotation. I think 8 kills number 2. They sniff him out in the water, or maybe he kills him later. I know that Kyler dies right here, bottom dome. And at this point, it's just looking grim. Brandon gets blooded. Ant gets 1. They run in bottom dome. Now they know Ant's in water now, which he's a sitting duck, quite literally and figuratively out there. He is a sitting duck in that water. And they just flip us out to that P3 side again, and they know we're all coming from there because they block P2.
Yeah, I mean, they play this map incredibly well. I'm not going to lie. Anytime I see OpTic playing this map, I kind of give them like the favorite tag just because Ant is such an annoying player. They've been playing this map pretty well for a decent amount of time now.
We were good at this map when I was on the team.
Yeah,
too.
but
then
I mean,
obviously
I just want to highlight Scrap again. Like I really do think his 2-piece in the back on the last hill was the game-winning play. Before that, it was pretty even, right? Like Ultra, they start good side and they hold the good side. They go up 75-6. It gets scrappy on that P3 a little bit. Toronto with, you can go as far to say maybe a game-saving contest on the P3 where they break out of back gas and actually hold some time on P3 when it looked like OpTic was going to hold the spawn trap. And then I think Scrap's game-winning 2-piece was the real star of that show. Yeah,
we wanted to throw one grand final map in there for you guys to break it down. We haven't done Hydra yet either, so we thought it was a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed the deep dive analysis. Again, please let us know if you guys want to see Search and Destroy or Control. We were going to do a Control in this one, but again, kind of just time constraint thing.
Yeah, and I mean, also just give us some feedback on what you want. Like, we could always do 2 more maps and then remove a segment or 2 if we want, or move some things around. We're still obviously very new to this, but we want your feedback to mean a lot. So just tweet us, #breakdown, and tag our new Twitter, BreakdownPod. And we will adjust the show as we see fit and as you guys give us more feedback and criticism.
Let's hop into our next segment without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen. Who is on thin ice?
Yeah, so this one was a weird one because we were talking back and forth about who to put on thin ice, and we talked about Thieves a little bit, but at the same time, Thieves are Thieves, and I don't see a world where Thieves are actually in any type of trouble at all.
No.
I mean, like, Thieves are allowed to have a bad tournament. It's not a team that I'm like, oh, they need to make a change, or...
We've seen it happen before with Thieves as well.
Yeah,
so when we were talking about putting Thieves on thin ice, which we definitely did, they got, a top 8 performance, which not the end of the world. We've seen them do way worse last year, and then they come back. They end up going back-to-back to win your world championship.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that team at all.
But I am worried about this team now.
Yeah.
Because this one's confusing me.
It is a little bit confusing. Let's throw up the graphic. We've got your New York Subliners on thin ice for this week.
Yeah, very.
And I love
weird
these
one.
guys.
Yeah,
I
listen.
hate to put them on thin ice because
Correct.
they know how I feel about them. I love these guys.
Yeah.
Got Kiz.
I mean, they have one of the best players in the world at Hydra, and many have talked about him being the best player in the world. I think as of this moment, he's not in that conversation right now.
He's still
mostly
close.
He's close, but due to like the team's overall performance, it's just hard to actually put him in like a number one spot, especially when players like Pred are playing like they are. Shotzzy has a tournament like that. Seljum's still playing like he is. Obviously, one of the best players in the world, undoubtedly, but I think the team's performance is very odd because they obviously come out and win Major 1. I don't think many people had them winning Major 1, so that was kind of a surprise.
I don't think. Well, the teams that were scrimming knew they were very good at Major 1.
Yeah.
Like when we played them before Major 1, we knew that they were ahead. But I don't think the community really knew how good they were.
Well, the Major 2 comes around, right? And they have this disaster of a travel day. They show up super late. They barely get any sleep. So we kind of all give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? This team, they just won Major 1. Obviously, they're still a powerhouse team. Some unfortunate travel day bullshit comes up, and we sort of write Major 2 off. We fast forward to Major 3, and now we can no longer write it off.
Yeah.
It starts to become alarming because the roster on paper and the roster at their ceiling, one of the best teams in the world. I mean, they were the best team in the world at Major 1. But they come out and they place top 12, last at Major 3.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about their online split just to kind of paint the picture for them. They end up winning their first match against Rocker in a round 11 fashion, which was their first round matchup at the Major as well.
What's weird about that one is at the time we're like, damn, two top teams facing off. Rocker just placed top 3. New York got upset. But still, we still valued them highly. And then knowing what we know now, to barely beat a Rocker team in the form they were this past split was actually not good. Like, they win 3-2 round 11 against a team who played like my ass.
We didn't know that then, though.
All stage long.
Yeah, Rocker, right there, that looked like an impressive win for New York. They end up winning a round 11 online. They lost to them on land round 11, their first round, which is kind of insane. And then New York comes out and beats them, in their first match. And they got top 3 at the last majors. So we're like, okay, New York looks like they're back to themselves.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah, they're back. Moving forward, they 3-0 Florida. So we're like, okay, New York looks good. They're back in form.
Yeah.
Moving forward, they get 3-0'd by Ultra, which, knowing now what we know, not really too crazy, seeing as Ultra are your most recent winners. And then their last 2 matches, they 3-0 us.
Yeah.
Which was not as impressive at the time because we were still kind of in that growing phase. We didn't really have too many matches under our belts. And then they end up getting 3-0'd by Surge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Surge New York matchup was the only one that, I think that kind of made sense because like we were talking about Surge when they're at their peak, they can beat any single team, especially in respawns. The OpTic match, like you said, was a weird one because at the time OpTic were not looking that great, right? Like very inconsistent. You'd see one team one day, a different team the next. But either way, like a decent online split, like they didn't go 0-5, they didn't go 1-4. It wasn't the worst performance, so I think everybody kind of assumed that New York would head into the Major and make some noise. I don't think anybody saw them as the same championship team that we saw after Major 1, but still a team that can come out and place top 4, top 6 easily and beat some of the top teams, and they don't. So we can compare some of their stats from online to LAN. I think what stands out for me most is the S&D. So Hydra online in the qualifiers had a 1.43 in search. He had a 0.92 at the Major.
Which is very, very... the sample size is so small at the Major.
Correct, but
that's all we got.
Exactly. So Kismet has a 1.14 in search online. He drops a 0.43 at the event.
That's tough.
Priesta 0.9 to a 0.5. Skies a 0.84 to a 1.15. So Caesar Skies is the only player with a positive KD in search at the tournament. And it's just very weird to have a team like this on thin ice. And I guess, go ahead, sorry.
I want to talk about something that, their search woes I mean, Search and Destroy was probably their weakest mode. They've been talking about that. They were very good at hardpoint, very good at control. They've always kind of struggled in Search and Destroy. They lose to Toronto and Florida.
Yeah.
But
Two
they
teams
do go, that are good Search.
I mean, they go 4-2 online in Search, so they're at least looking a little better, right? They have a positive record, and then on land they just can't put it together.
Yeah. I think that New York, even though we have them on thin ice, I think it's kind of the same as the Rocker team that we saw. I think this team, I don't think we raised any alarms yet. I think if they go into this next qualifier and either have a bad online qualifier or a bad major, then we might need to start raising some alarms and talking about what's really going on with that team. But right now, I still think they're...
Also, I don't see... Okay, so here's sort of how I base roster changes. I look at a team like New York from player to player, and I think about players. First off, let me just preface, I don't think this team should look at a change right now.
No,
but
absolutely
just if they were, I'm not sure what players you look at that can replace any of these players.
Yeah.
Like, who do you replace? Hydra doesn't move anywhere.
I don't think you can make a change on this team at all.
Exactly.
I mean,
especially when I think most of the top challenger players like Ghosty already get picked up. The problem is when you get to this point of the year, most of the top challenger players are either signed as substitutes or somehow on starting rosters. Then you're like, okay, we can explore a trade. But the problem in the CDL with trades is that one team always feels like they're losing the trade.
Not happening mid-season.
It never feels like a winning trade for both teams, because usually it's a struggling team and then like a mid to top team that is being pursued for a player. So but it's very, very rare that we see trades. But New York, like you said, I don't want to sound the alarms yet.
No, yeah, and I want to talk about one more.
It's getting scary.
I want to talk about one more thing really quickly. We see their hard point. I want to point out their 3 hard point losses on LAN. They scored 222 points, 244 points, and 231 points.
I mean, they're not incompetent. I mean, it's still a team that are going to make it close, but I don't give a fuck about this argument anymore of a team getting close, because then it reminds me of a team like London who they're always close.
London, I mean, should have beat us.
Correct.
Let's be honest.
They probably should have beat OpTic based on the form that they were showing and
I mean,
the
just
momentum
match.
they had.
They were up
4-1 last map. Is that what it was?
No, they were up 3-0.
3-0, sorry.
That might have turned into a 4-1. I don't remember, but they were up 100 points on the Mercado hardpoint. They threw back-to-back maps against us, and then that allows us to get going.
Yeah,
so we can't talk about almost anymore, because
Yeah.
almost just means
we're at the point of the
diddly
year.
squat in
We're at
Call
the
of Duty.
point of the year now where either you're winning or you're not. If you score 244 points and you lose the map, sure, obviously, I mean, you made some good plays, but you didn't win the map. So I'm not gonna sit here and gas a team because they're close. It's one thing to be close. It's one thing to close it out and win.
Yeah.
So sure, I hope it's close. This is not a roster that should be getting 100-point club, but
No.
I don't tip my hat to them being close.
Yeah. So New York's on thin ice. I think that they still have a little bit of ice under them, though. I don't think this team makes a change at all.
And they're good friends. Like, I think
they're major champions this year. They have all the tools necessary to be a good team. We've seen it. They're champions.
I mean, I'll play devil's advocate and just talk about the league as a whole. I mean, it's a very competitive league. So these type of things will happen. A top team will slump. They'll perform under, I guess, the caliber that most people expect from them.
Yeah.
But this is a roster you don't change. Just like Rocker, like you give these players a little bit more time. And if the woes continue,
then maybe.
Then you talk about, okay, what can we do? Like, who's available? Are there trades? What challengers players playing well? But right now, they are on thin ice because they haven't fallen through the ice yet.
No, they're just struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to a lot of teams. It happens to pretty much every team besides FaZe.
Yep.
I mean, FaZe, their struggles are top 3.
Yeah.
So,
Christ.
And we talk about their control a little bit. We don't even talk about it because it's not worth mentioning. They've always been good at control. They have 1.11 in control still. That is not their issue. But New York's on thin ice. Let's move on to something a little more lighthearted, perhaps.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it last time. I waxed that ass in the game within the show. The game within the game show.
Correct.
Rapid fire.
Sure. I love this one so much.
I mean, and
what are we wagering this time?
Well, you lost the first wager of 50 gifted. So, well, when we first talked about it, it's going to be like a score based on the entirety of like a CDL stage, for example. So stage 4 will be starting fresh, and we'll have the 3 weeks of online qualifiers and a major. So instead of a week-to-week punishment per se, we'll round up the scores at the end. If there's a tiebreaker, we'll do a tiebreaker, and there'll be a punishment based around that. We're not going to give you guys the ideas we floated so far, but I think right now we run it back. 50 gifted.
Sure.
And this
Do you
time,
want to go first?
well, what did we do last time?
We have a timer this time as well. We actually have an official timer.
What did we do last time? I think you.
Did
you ask me first?
I went second because I choked. Remember, I needed 2
Correct.
and I choked.
Correct. So now we switch it up.
Okay, so I go first.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
After this, folks, we'll have the top 10 and then call the community. You guys know the vibes. The show inside the
All
show.
right.
Come
so
on.
let me describe rapid fire real quick. In case you're new, you haven't seen episode 1, which is now available on Spotify. Rapid fire questions. Each person gets 60 seconds. We have 10 questions each. A lot of these are very hard, and whoever gets the most questions right within the 60-second time, unless you have something else on your mind.
Nah, we can do that. I'm tweaking right now. Come
Wagyu dinner. 50 gifted.
50 gifted. Come on.
All right. I am ready for that timer.
Yeah, bring up that timer.
3, 2, 1.
How many oceans are there on Earth?
7.
Wrong.
What?
What 3 teams do we play on Champ Sunday?
On Champ Sunday, Toronto, FaZe, Boston.
Correct. Who was on Method's team when he won CDL Atlanta? Well, CWL Atlanta.
Gunless Tej, Looney.
Correct.
I'm insane.
What is Toronto Ultra's logo? Oh,
A squirrel.
Oh, they're feeding you these. How many kills did you need for a Moab at MW3?
25.
Correct. How many different
24
CDL teams?
With hardline.
How many different CDL teams have there been?
Have there been?
Yes.
How much time do I have? 23, 13.
Incorrect. Where was Hex born?
Juarez.
Incorrect.
What?
Name the teams in LAG's crazy loser run at Major 2. Every team they beat. You're not going to get this.
What? Next question.
What's my favorite alcoholic drink?
Skinny Marg or vodka soda?
How do you get that wrong? Old fashioned. A Skinny Marg is nowhere near my top alcoholic drink.
Dude, this is insanity.
And would you say a vodka soda? That's not my favorite. That's just to keep the tits in.
Is that all? How many did I get right?
You got 4 right.
That's insane.
And the last question would have been, how many Mountain Dew flavors are there? What would you have picked? I mean, there's no way.
I got how many oceans are wrong.
Yeah.
Or how many oceans there are wrong.
Wait, but
Hey, how many
hold
oceans
on.
are there? 9?
5.
Dude.
five.
Oh my god.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of worried because
I am never living that.
I feel
down.
like getting 4 right's actually a lot.
I can just picture the chat right now. NA education system.
All right, come on, feed me.
All right, let me know. Let me know when to go.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
How many bones do sharks have?
Skip.
Who is on both X Games gold teams of mine?
Dude, what?
Yeah.
You, Nate Shot, Proofy, Clay.
Yeah.
Name a different one.
Yeah,
You,
both.
Formal, Crim, Damon.
Yeah, that was so easy. Who did I 1v1 at the end of the Warzone solo dolo?
Aiden.
I mean, what did I text Nade Shot when I left for Envy?
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
How many views does Hex Sniper Montage have?
Dude, what? 600K.
No. Name the 2 5v5 competitive titles.
MW and Black Ops 4.
What state was the last original colony?
Dude, what do I look like? I don't know. Skip.
Name all 4 major Dallas sports teams.
Dallas Stars, Mavericks, Cowboys. What sport am I missing?
I don't know. You want to skip it?
Yeah.
How many 6v6 maps did MW2 launch with?
13, 12.
Wrong, I win.
What was the final sports team?
Cowboys, FC Dallas, Stars,
FC Dallas Major? Go fuck yourself.
and the Rangers. You would have got it wrong anyway. You said, what'd you say? Mavs, Cowboys,
Dallas Stars, the
Stars,
NHL team.
Rangers. Rangers are a big team.
You said FC. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
you
but
c- you
that's
could've said
not
either
Dallas.
one, but-
Texas Rangers? That was horse shit.
Dude, it's all good.
There's 3 major Dallas teams with Dallas in their name.
That'll be 50.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be fighting rods after this one.
That's free cash, ladies and gentlemen.
What else how many views did Hector's montage have?
6.3 million.
Oh Jesus! How many bones does a shark have,
Trick question. None. It's all cartilage.
dude? Yeah, Roger's fucking.
See, I know
weird.
that, but I don't know how many oceans.
How
there
much
are.
did you pay him?
Who?
And what was the colony one?
Georgia.
Dude,
Yeah.
what do I
that's
look
insane.
like?
Yeah, they think we're Magellan.
Oh man,
fucking insane.
Well, it looks like you take this one. Congrats. Now it's 1-1 on the year because this is episode 2, and I
Yes.
won the first one.
Hey, it's 50-50 right now. I can't believe that you just lost that. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, you can get this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the top 10 plays of the major.
I'm excited for this one.
I mean, we saw an insane amount of plays, and let me also say, just like I said last episode, there were an insane amount of plays, and you can always make an argument that a certain play got left out or a certain play should have been ranked higher. We chose 10 plays that we think were insane, were impactful, important matches, the fans loved, and if we left out your favorite play, we apologize. If you think
it's only
a
two of us
play-
morons trying
Yeah,
to
I mean,
pick through.
You have a dumb duo trying to rank the top
I'm
10
sure-
plays of an entire major.
I'm sure that we write them down, but I'm sure that other shows have probably teams of people that
Yeah.
figure this stuff out. But without further ado, let's hop into the top 10.
And coming in at number 10, we have
Too real. The
With a-
pillow. I
with a-
believe this was just an
believe it was an ace, yep.
Yeah. First in their game against Thieves. This was after the map 1.
Yep.
Goes on. He's snaking nothing right now, but the pillow is an absolute issue on the map.
And let me say, you never know if someone's new to competitive Call of Duty, and Ace is finding all 4 kills in a search and destroy round. Speaking of New York that are on thin ice, we still have Hydra making it to the top 10 plays. He had a crazy sequence here against Florida on green, on Mercado, so obviously still one of the best players in the world. He can find kills like this, and if you hear this kid's alive in green, you're saying, I'm going 10.
Yeah. You can see here, he just absolutely rips through this Florida roster. They end up losing this series in the end, but he goes on a nice little 6 streak, propels his team, gets the momentum, and that's number 9.
And here's an insane turn-on from Pred. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing a nice little turn-on, especially on the grandest stage. Unfortunately for Exceed, that snapback is ripped right off his head. Pred turns and burns, the best Australian we've seen. Number 7.
Next up, let me get this one. Dan Ghosty,
Yeah.
an absolute snap, and it's not just a snap, it's a snap in a critical moment. This
Yeah.
is to win the map. It would have been a round 11, 5-5 to go down 0-2. So winning them and closing the map right there is just absolutely huge.
Yeah, that
Gotta
kid
give
shut
props.
everybody the hell up. And there is a lot of OpTic in this because we've seen some crazy plays. Here's Shotzzy in our breakdown team of the week. I mean, we could talk all day about the kid and how he played at the major. He was lights out in here. Just like any top SMG, if you have Shotzzy or Pred or Hydra or Abizi, anybody running around maps in a spawn trap on control on Fortress, you might as well put that controller down, go get yourself a water, and walk back to your setup because there's fucking nothing you can do in this situation.
Yeah, you see him. He's just getting loose. Kyler ends up dying, but what does that mean for Shotzzy? It means that he's just going to come back and end up getting some of those trades. It looks like he's going to do that pinch again.
Yep.
And the Joe Pinchington, and he's still going.
Yeah, and watch, he hits this snake here, and then he just flies.
Let me see that emote.
I mean, look at him go.
Sure.
See you, Reese.
A quick 8 streak from Shotzzy. I don't know if he keeps on going here, but he does not.
And now for our top 5, look at him, the Goomba. I mean, it's a Beezy. We can talk about this player all day. Again, another player in the conversation for best player in the world. Here, he's playing against Thieves, which I think at this moment still everybody's saying these are the number 1 and 2 teams respectively in the game. So a lot on the line here. FaZe, they look dominant in this series, and Abizi looks dominant here. I mean, what's impressive about him is he will just fight you. He'll sprint at the
Look at
best
him.
players in the world, and he'll somehow keep finding kills. It doesn't make sense.
He doesn't have an off button, and the guy just keeps flying, and he's catching people off guard. Number 4, I actually don't.
Ace
oh,
from
this was the
Shotzzy.
Shotzzy ace. Yeah, this was absolutely insane. He gets the first 2, busting through the low checker's door, pops that deadie, and you just know that he's about to get loose. You can't let him get going. And for this reason, I believe he climbs up the ladder, or does he go through checkers? He climbs up the ladder, goes through top money, ends up getting a sound cue or a call out. I'm not sure which one.
He finds the guy off bomb, jumps down.
Yeah, right
kills,
here got
I
a
believe.
little.
Is it Joe? Yeah, Joe's alive.
Right
so he
here
kills
got
the guy off
sketchy.
bomb. Not really.
Well, for him, because he went out through money and he wasn't. he didn't see Wake.
Yeah, some bad time in there. Top 3. I mean, here he is again.
This
And-
was, I
and
think
this was the sequence.
This was the sequence that I said was probably one of the smoothest things that I've seen on this game.
Yeah, especially versus FaZe. I mean, he gets tank control, and he's just finessing the pack like Messi.
Right
He's
here, this is
staking. Let's see
nuts.
those emotes.
Look at that form.
Good form.
Look how much time he buys. He kills Simp, keeps snaking him, buys time, and then this is just nuts. I mean, to be able to do that first try,
I'm not doing that.
yeah, it's nuts.
I would have fell and got picked right in the big doorway like a moron.
We
They'd
said
say,
that-
what the fuck is Zin doing?
Yeah, we said that he was lathered up in butter, and
You
that,
said lubed up in butter.
whatever. That is the reason why. What a play.
Top 2, not talking Jeter. This is Kyler. I mean, this is a 1v4 in a time where you need it most. You're down 1-0 in your elimination game. If anybody needs this right now, it's the green wall, and somehow, some way, he pulls it out of the hat.
Yeah, some people might not say, or might say, why is this in here? Again,
It's a 1v4.
It's a 1v4, and the timing of it is nuts. We lose map 1.
Yeah.
We're about to go down 3-1 after throwing around, and Kyler comes up big, shuts down all of their momentum. There's a reason why it's number 2 in our top 10.
And now it's time for number 1.
I
Ladies-
think some people will probably guess which one this is.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's Brandon Daschy with an insane 4-piece. Michael Myers. I mean, the kid's shooting well. He's knifing people. An insane sequence. So those were our top 10 plays. Once again, you can move them around. You can shift them how you want.
We're
You
a
could add a
two-man-
play or two.
2-man eyeballs looking for top 10.
Those plays for us were ones that stood out and ones that, sure, maybe even in hindsight, you're like, oh, I can do that in ranked play. But these players are doing it on the biggest stage in front of hundreds of thousands watching worldwide.
Yeah.
With a crowd screaming at the top of their lungs,
It's impressive.
adrenaline pumping. It's one thing to watch it from where we're sitting, and it's one thing to actually do it. These guys do it.
It's impressive, nonetheless. Congrats to everyone that made the top 10. I'm sure that they probably don't give a fuck, but it's
yeah,
cool.
I mean,
It's cool to be on
Ma-
the breakdown top 10.
Dashy's called Mama Dashy. Yeah, I was in the number 1 play of the breakdown.
He might be.
He should.
Let's get into our final segment of the evening. We've had a great show so far, Zen. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
Well, listen, we hope you guys are enjoying. Our final segment is Call of Community, where we take questions from the community on Twitter. Once again, we have an official Breakdown Twitter now. It's Breakdown Pod. Last night we tweeted Call of Community questions here, and these are some that we got.
Yeah, you want to read the first one or you want me to?
You know, why don't you read the first one, man? I'm feeling generous.
Sure. Let's pop that first one up. What are some of the pros and cons of making a run like OpTic? Will the boys be able to regain quickly after that?
I don't think there's a regain in the way that he means it. I mean, I think that run is just all-out confidence.
Like, do you think he's saying that they're sad that they lost
I'm sure
in
they
a
are.
heartbreaking way?
They definitely are. They're a little sad, of course. I mean, they play second, but they have nothing to be ashamed of. They make an insane losers run, beating some of the best teams in the world. I think they carry that confidence. I don't think it's one of those things where, like, they're going to bed lacking confidence. If anything, they know they can beat any single team in the world now. So I understand the question. I just think there are only pros to take away from it.
Yeah.
I mean, you
There's
can
no
argue.
cons.
I mean, you can look at a hotel search in that Toronto series, and obviously there were a few plays that could have went OpTic's way that ending up not happening. But I mean,
I think
I think only positives.
only positives come from that. Again, probably a little disappointed not getting the win, which is what everyone strives for. But to make that run, to show that grit, that perseverance as a team, it's not easy to do. We don't see it happen, I mean, really ever. We saw it last year with LAG, but it's insanely hard to do to come back from losers one and win a tournament. So
Yep.
I think they're only taking positives from that. I think they're going to build off of that and hopefully, I mean, tear through stage 4.
Yep.
Next question.
Next question: did that hotel search cost OpTic tournament? That question is from what's the name? C. Gradania. Sorry if I butchered that. Gradanus. You're sick.
What?
So I'll let you answer first. Did that hotel search cost OpTic the tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I'm looking at a couple plays there. I will stand by the fact. I'll say it again. I will die on this hill. Dan Ghosty's play was the right play. When he had the Hixie trapped in that back right corner outside kitchen, I understand the bomb was down. But if you have a player trapped in a corner, weak or one shot, I think maybe 9 out of 10 times you pounce. And it just so happens he goes out. I think he pre-fires or aims in. you can't really read the guy laying down. You're always going to center towards like the middle of the body.
Yeah.
Hicksy's laying down, which I'm not sure if it was luck or just intuition or smarts. I do not mind that play at all.
I don't mind it either. I just think that map, I don't think it fully costed them the tournament, but I think that it definitely shakes up how the next map plays out.
Yeah, 100%.
You see them go down 2-0 right off the rip. They end up making a comeback, forcing it to the round 5.
I also, real quick, I will
It's
mention
hard.
the shot. I'll mention the Shotzzy play when he flies that 2 people back door. There was a player pre-firing through the back door. I assume his mindset was that there's one player back there. He's either reloading or he's obviously not centered ready for a fight. I'm going to jump him real quick. Just so happens that there are 2 players out there. Of course, there is the argument that maybe he should have stayed inside and not went and chowed. He was in flow state. He was feeling confident. It happens. He has a spotlight on him because of who he is and the team he plays for. I don't want to defend his play, but I also, as former players, you understand that when you're in that moment, you have to make decisions in split and millisecond fashion.
Yeah.
Right there, I'm sure looking back at it, he thinks he made the wrong one. That will happen.
Yeah, I want to change my answer. I don't think it fully costed them. I think that it definitely hurt their momentum and it hurt their chance. I don't think it fully costed them the tournament, but I do think if they win that, the Asilla looks different. I think they might. I mean, so I guess I'm kind of just talking in circles. I guess
There's no way to know.
Yeah, then yes.
There's no way to know.
Then yes, it costed them. Next question.
You got that.
If both of y'all was owner and y'all can draft a CDL team, who is the 4 y'all are picking?
You want me to go first? Well,
Sure.
How should we do it? Should we
Just go.
Just any players on any team?
Yeah. Just make a super team.
Okay. My main AR is Celium.
Okay.
My flex is.
I'm not gonna say you. It's
I
your
know.
team.
I'm thinking. Actually, no. Dashy main AR.
Okay.
Celium flex.
Okay.
For my 2 SMGs, I'm going Pred and Shotzzy. Oh wait, I just looked at the Tiny Terrors. Fuck, I gotta rethink this. This is impossible.
You can't rethink it.
Dashy Celium.
Those would be my 2 ARs as well.
Dashy Celium.
Right now, yeah.
I might make Simpa flex. That kid's nice.
That would be insane.
I might make Simpa flex.
People are saying that London signed Yuli or something right now.
We'll talk about that after Call of Community with
Sure.
an impromptu segment where we discuss drama. Shit. Dashy Celium, Pred. Jesus.
It's insane.
Shotzzy, sure. I mean, I don't know how it has left out the Tiny Terrors. What are you doing?
I might take your idea. I might go Dashy main. Dude, you can't leave out Cell.
You got to keep MacArthur
I'm
in
going to take your
there.
exact same team. I know it's unoriginal, but I don't think you can make a better team than that. I don't think you can make a better team.
I will argue. I do think you can interchange some of the SMGs and still see like a same. Like
Yeah.
you can put Simp and or a BZ in any of the SMGs I just named and make a super team. Like they're at Hydra too.
Yeah, that's insane.
and
Actually,
Hydra
I can't
too.
say that you can make a better team.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus
Imagine
Christ.
a BZ and Ant. Oh my God.
I'm gonna make a team.
I mean, a BZ
Shit.
and Pred. I mean, Jesus. There's a lot of insane teams that could be made.
That's an impossible question, but we appreciate the question. Next question, please.
Yeah, next question. That one's hard.
If any team makes a change, what are the top players? I'm sorry, I'm throwing shoulders against the camera. Who are the top players you are looking at to get a starting spot? Okay, so here's the weird thing. There are a lot of top European challengers that, because of visa issues, can't get in. Someone like Vortex, who has been winning in challengers worldwide and in the EU for a while.
Yeah.
It's not as easy for a player in Europe or Canada to get a spot. Even someone like DiamondCon, who I think was the best player on the LAG Academy roster before 3 of them got picked up. If you're not from NA, you're kind of at a disadvantage, and it's hard to get a visa. So to speak more on the NA players.
This was a potential segment we were thinking about doing.
Shh. What do you mean potential? It's happening. Should we not listen? We
we
don't
have to announce it right now.
We have some new segments coming soon.
Sorry, guys.
You asshole. We can just tell them the new one now. We have 2 new ones at least right now. We can tell them one that's coming. Pretty soon we have a segment called Next Up, or name to be decided on, but right now it's Next Up, where we highlight some Challengers players, their stats, Challengers results, because we of course want to give some spotlight and some shine to up and coming players.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of highlight the
up and comers.
Yeah, highlight the
But
Challengers community a little bit. They don't really get too much love, so we thought maybe we could throw a little bit extra here and
I know I've answered this one a lot,
highlight
but
some of the-
let me make another point.
Yeah.
So the players I really think you look out for are players like GodRX and Pander, who, here's the problem. I guess the problem
They
with
love
the league.
that idea, by the way.
Perfect. Here's, I guess,
A lot of W's.
I guess one of the problems with the league is that everybody is obsessed with the unknown variable. So someone like GodRX or Pander, who have been in the league before and maybe haven't been in optimal situations to really thrive. Also, Fame, Real are names that come to mind. Players that have sort of gotten a chance before and either were solid or weren't great, but now everybody is just so obsessed with the unknown variable, finding the next Pred or the next Simp, that players who have sort of shown what they have kind of get overlooked now.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And there are players like Kremp who are good in NA Challengers. Pentagram's been down there for a while. There are a lot of solid challengers. It's just, here's my biggest argument when it comes to bringing in challengers. It's very easy to look at a bottom 4 CDL team and be like, that guy's not performing. If that guy then goes to challengers, he looks like a fucking god.
Not
So-
all the time, but
A lot of the time. Like, very rarely, I feel like, do you see players get a chance again? Like, Too Real, if he didn't get a chance again, both of us would not think that kid's good. And now
that's fair.
And now we rate Too Real decently well. Like,
That is fair.
if you were to give me that sample size of the Too Real I saw last year, without giving me what I saw this year, I would think he's
It's
a
all
bad.
we have to. It's all we have to look
I would
at
think-
other than challengers.
I would think
but
he's a bad player. But now you
Yes.
put him in a better situation with maybe a better system, better players, whatever it may be. He gets a second chance, and he looks good.
Sure. Last question of the evening. Let's have at it.
Is it the last one? There might be more than 5 this time.
Are there more than 5? I'm
We'll
not
see.
sure.
Go ahead.
Thoughts on rumors going back to YouTube? If they do, how will you guys keep up with the watch parties?
You want to start this one off? I've been talking a lot.
So
I'll say one thing, and then you can rant.
this one, it's kind of delicate. I mean, if it were to go back to YouTube, it would suck for, everybody.
If
It would not be good for everybody.
we just set the record for viewership in the CDL, if you can watch that happen and someone can make a decision to take a growing product and switch platforms,
It would be bad.
it would be
Catastrophic.
no. Yes, there are no positives to it. I'm sure there's money involved, but
That's
the way
the only positive.
the way I see it is this. I think for the first time in a very long time, we're seeing actual growth. Obviously, me and you don't know what's going on in those boardrooms or like what's actually happening. But ideally, I think you bet on ourselves. We continue the growth, the viewership. Then you have even more of an argument for a bigger exclusive deal down the line, right? Like, we are way too early in the process of growing this league to where we know it can get to make a change like this so early on. Like,
Yes.
it is imperative that we stay on Twitch. YouTube, for example, YouTube's VOD platform is insane. But
The
they
best.
are not there yet when it comes to live streaming. Like, the
They're not.
discoverability is not there yet. Like, if you want to watch live esports right now, the spot
Twitch.
to be is Twitch.
The only
So-
place to be is Twitch.
so ideally, I can speak for both of us. We are hoping and praying for everybody involved.
Yes.
Whatever you want to put it towards, watch parties, viewership for the league, whatever it may be, Twitch is the place we need to be right now.
Yeah, I'd be mind blown if it switched to YouTube, and I think the whole community would be. Obviously, there's people that like watching on YouTube more than Twitch, and they like YouTube's playback, whatever maybe it's smoother. I don't know.
Yeah.
The community on Twitch is just, it's undefeated. It would be a big blow for everybody. I hope it doesn't change.
Yeah.
I hope everything is going well right now. We just saw record numbers. Let's keep it on here. Sure.
Please.
Next question, if we have any more.
That's all we got.
That's all of our questions, folks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for episode 2 of the breakdown. We'll sit here and we'll talk, just briefly, chat, how we feeling. Can we get some W's if you guys enjoyed the episode? Definitely a lot less tense than the first time.
Yes, a lot
I would
less
say.
tense.
Yeah. Oh, I'll keep going.
Oh, sorry. I was about to pull up.
Yeah. Are you zoned out over there?
No, I was about to pull up the news because people are saying it. Was it a leak or was it?
Oh, yeah. We'll
is it
talk.
just- is it
Sorry. Yeah.
hearsay?
Is it official or is it just like a leak? Either way, if it's true, Yuli, I believe, was on that team with Ghosty and Fellow. So we see Ghosty and Fellow getting called up. Was it Ghosty, Fellow, Capsule, and Yuli? Was that the roster? It's a leak. Who cares? We'll talk about it. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's a leak. It's not official. What do you think about that move? If it does end up happening, what do you think?
I don't know a lot about him a lot. I just think too little too late. Like, I don't think a player is coming in and transforming London into a top 8 champs team. Like, I think they're too far behind now. And I don't know.
I agree.
Like,
I don't think it makes any difference. Maybe they make some noise at a major.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any difference
too real, sorry.
for the layout of the remainder of the season. That team is chalked for the rest of the season, in my opinion. From champs, I mean, again, they could still come out to a major, do well. I just think it's a little too late. I don't think it really does much. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, we can talk back and forth about it. I'm sure he's a solid player. I just think London has been very close to beating some solid teams. I don't think Yuli comes in and is just lights out, like closing out games for London and propelling them into top 8. Like right now, I believe Vegas is 20 points behind top 8, and that's where Rocker has been struggling, and now it gets scary for Rocker. I'm not sure if I see London making that run no matter what change they make.
I think a change was needed or is needed, but I mean, it's too late.
Listen, I can respect them wanting to try. Obviously, we like those guys. It's just only 8 teams make champs now, and we're looking at teams like LAG and Florida and London who have been struggling, and I still believe the only team that does have an argument and a chance to make champs now is Vegas.
Yeah, I think that the champs 8 are pretty much solidified. I agree with you there that Vegas is the only team right now in the bottom 4 that even has a chance.
Yep.
And that's just even from just a straight up points discussion. I mean, LAG as well, you could argue, has a chance. They're at 90 points right now. Riley, can we throw up the official standings, or do we just have to talk about them?
You can just talk about them.
Okay, so right now the cutoff is 110. So I actually saw a stat online that said the cutoff for points is probably going to be around 195 points. And looking at some of these teams, 70 is just not close.
Yeah.
90, I mean, they still have to get 100 points, and that's Vegas. 70 for LAG, 70 for Florida, and 50 for London.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
London's out.
Yeah, I think it might be too late.
But
obviously,
I think a change is needed, and if that's the change that they think that they need from the internal side of their team, then screw it. Why not?
Well, there's also a different component where they need to improve as a team and as players, because now they're fighting for roster spots for next year.
Well, London as an org isn't thinking about that.
Well, I'm talking about the players.
Yes.
Like the players now, they still want to win and perform because they're going for longevity and trying to compete in this league long term.
Yeah. And
giving up and losing worse or not trying to improve the team or individually will only hurt their stock and their careers ahead. So I don't fault them for making a change. Sure, let's do it. But I just, logistically speaking, I don't think they're making champs.
No, I don't. I think it's impossible for them to make champs.
And this is a different conversation, but I, of course, I'm a fan of the old school way where every team gets a shot at champs. And even if they start in losers, I look at a losers run like we saw this weekend for OpTic.
But that's from a good team.
All I'm saying is it takes away that Cinderella story, that fairy tale run potential.
Yeah. And
my argument and logic against it is if that team didn't deserve to be there, they'd be knocked out first round anyway, or they prove everybody wrong.
It's fair, but that's not how it goes, and that's not
correct.
That's just not the way things are.
And who's getting replaced?
Paul.
Paul is?
They're saying
that's the league? Okay.
The rumor is Paul right now. Chat, that's right, correct? It's for Paul?
Damn. Hi, I'm Paul.
Which
I'm
is
about to
interesting
piss myself.
Because didn't they already have issues with Paul earlier in the year?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was
didn't
like
they bench him and then he came back?
Yeah, there was something with like he was taking a brief break due to getting either his head right or his health right, or there was some type of break he was going to take. But I'm about to literally piss my pants.
I mean, we're done with the show. If you wanna outro us, that's a W episode.
Guys, can we get a W spam if you guys enjoyed? Also, we want to promote the Spotify and the new Twitter. So Breakdown Pod on Twitter, and we're now on Spotify. So if you want to listen on your way to work, school, at the gym, whatever it may be, please follow us on Spotify. If you really love us, just leave it playing overnight. Just give us the play. And we also have merch live.
sick.
We also have merch live if you're interested.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's shop.opticgaming.com, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just our first iteration of breakdown merch. It'll of course transform, and
Of course.
we'll release more down the line. But we wanted to give supporters and people a chance to buy like early breakdown merch. Our first iteration of it.
We
so
should have done like a breakdown merch giveaway on stream. We kind of choked it.
yeah, we bottled that. But if you're interested, shop.opticgaming.com. And I do want to say, like, we would really appreciate your love and support on the VOD that will live on your YouTube for now,
Yep.
as well as
It'll be going up probably shortly
Spotify.
after we hop off.
Yeah. So I think that'll do it.
Yeah, great episode. Thank
Thank
you
you,
guys
guys.
for joining us.
Thank
I
you.
hope that you guys had a good time today. We'll be starting up the breakdown shows again, probably starting with Major 4 qualifiers week 1. We'll probably do a show after that.
And also, if there are like roster changes or stuff to talk about, I mean,
we'll
we are
talk
of
about
course
it, but I
down
don't-
to maybe do like a mini breakdown. We've talked about that idea of doing like maybe like mini shows throughout the week, depending
But
on
it won't be like
a few teams change.
It won't
No,
be
well,
the production value will not.
I mean, there
be
wouldn't
the
be a
same
top
as
10
this.
and all that stuff. It
Yeah.
would look a little different. But thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll catch you guys in the next breakdown episode, and I believe we'll probably be live tomorrow at some point doing something. So
It's rank play time.
you guys know where to find us. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and we'll catch you next time. And as always, this is Brian. See ya.
Oh, look at
That's the breakdown.
Look at that outro.